Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Well, there you have it. There's the news. Ben Simmons out. He's out. He needs surgery, and it looks like he will not be ready for this postseason run. Somehow, some way, when Woj tweeted the news, he left a little optimism. Hey, if they make a deep run, maybe it's possible. No. Stop it with that garbage. I found out the news when I was going food shopping, and my group chat went off, and it said, Ben Simmons needs surgery, and I thought it was a joke. I thought he was just kidding. Like, haha, real funny, but it's not funny. Until I saw all the notifications start coming my way, and I'm refreshing Twitter. I'm getting yelled at because I'm pushing the cart too damn slow, but I'm trying to see if Ben Simmons' season is over, and sadly, it's reality at this point. Yes, it is over, and I am truly devastated. Not so much because of what it meant for this season, because we all can see, we all have eyeballs. This team was not clicking properly, okay? They were not playing basketball smooth enough this season to be convinced that they were actually going to make some sort of title run or some sort of noise this postseason. So even if Ben Simmons was playing basketball and this injury never happened, I wasn't very optimistic that this team would make some crazy run. This is where I'm truly upset about it, though. How many times have I sat here and discussed the growth of these players? How these players need to learn, develop, and when superstars take over in this league, they are at a certain age. The reason why it takes that long to actually succeed in this league once you groom into a superstar is because you experience the lows, you experience the playoff runs, you learn as a basketball player the intensity, what it's like, okay? What you need to do better each offseason based off of the failures that you had in certain playoff runs. And now Ben Simmons just loses this opportunity. Believe it or not, there's value in going into the playoffs and losing. Losing in the second round again, if that's where they would have fell if Ben Simmons was still in the lineup. There's value in losing in the playoffs. You need to learn. You need to understand. You need to feel the pain over and over and over again for you to be able to grow as a player. And this, it's just a major setback when it comes to Ben Simmons, the player, the individual player, and that's where it eats me alive the most. I have very high hopes for Ben Simmons to one day grow into that player that consistently carries teams through the postseason into the promised land, and this is a big step to lose. I mean, not having a postseason to learn from, to understand more about what it's like to play postseason basketball, I think that is very impactful. I think it really is. You have to properly go into these playoff seasons and postseason runs and experience so many different things. You know, experience the half-court set, experience the intensity. And I know he has already done that, right? He's been through the postseason. But every single year, you gain more experience. Your IQ is added, the basketball IQ. You learn more from going up against different players, from ways teams defend you. If Brad Stevens had this master plan to throw maybe a unique twist and a unique tie into his defensive scheme on Ben Simmons, well, he could have used that to help him grow the next season and the next season and the next season. And you'll just never know at this point, and that's where I think it hurts Ben Simmons the most. But here you have another season where Ben Simmons is injured. And if you remember when he came into the league, they had the foot injury. Then he had the back injury when the season stopped. And now it seemed to be a left patella injury. Was that because he came back too soon from the back? Was he favoring the back so much that maybe something else happened? I feel like that's possible. A lot more to dive into. I'll be taking your phone calls. The 24/7 anytime hotline number was clearly going off all day long. The phone number is 856-442-9805. You can utilize that number whenever you like to leave me a reaction to use for these podcasts. So we'll get to your phone calls as well. This episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They will make sure you receive all the state and federal incentives available when switching to solar energy. There is no risk and no need for investment. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. So make sure you check out their information. Their link and phone number is in the description. What does this mean for someone like Brett Brown? What does this mean? See, at this point, I think that it's time for a fresh voice. I don't think that an NBA basketball coach has more than, say, 15 to 20% impact on a basketball team. 80%, 85% is having the superstar talent, and then you got 15-ish% on the NBA coach. So my value in NBA coaching isn't very high. With that being said, though, I do think that a change couldn't hurt. Because I don't put that much value in it, a change isn't the big extreme to take this team over the top. No, that comes with Ben Simmons being able to actually have an offseason and growing and being more comfortable taking shots. It comes with Joel Embiid adding to his game. It comes to some other things with this squad as well. Tobias Harris continuing to be aggressive. That's where this team is going to take over and take the next step. So with that being said, since I don't value the impact of the head coach that much, sure, I guess it's okay to make a change if need be. I think at some point a message runs dry. I think that, and I don't think that that's the case right now. I feel that is a very obnoxious thing to say that, hey, the message is so dry, nobody listens to him anymore. No one respects Brett Brown. That has been overblown. I think the point where people claim that nobody listens to him anymore is the overblown part. Could the message be dry a tad? Sure, I think it could be. I've actually experienced a head coaching change during my hockey career when I was playing, and the thing is, it brings a different level of focus because it's, hey, I want to make sure I prove to my coach that I can play. I want to show him my skill set. So, that first practice when the coach gets fired and the new coach is out on the ice, there's a different level of focus and intensity and awareness because it's, hey, I want to prove to this guy that I can play. I want to show him how good I am. I want to show him where I excel and things of that nature. So it can hurt at this point. I don't think that this Ben Simmons injury should play a role in if Brett Brown is fired or not. That's how I feel about it. If they lose in the first round without Ben Simmons, there should be no excuse. It shouldn't be, Brett Brown didn't have Ben Simmons, because it wasn't looking right at all. If things were flowing, things were going smooth, they looked like the Raptors, they looked like the Bucks, if they had an offense that was clicking and they were really able to execute and things of that nature, and then Ben Simmons went down, and then they lost in the first round, I think you have an argument. I do. I think you would have an argument. And realistically, I don't think the hatred would be on Brett Brown at that point because there would be nothing to complain about. People wouldn't feel the need to rush him out of town because at that point the Sixers would have looked good. But they haven't. They haven't at all. And we've seen it for this whole entire run that something's not right. You can also argue that the roster's not right for him either. Elton Brand didn't build the proper roster around him, so it's tough to figure this out, sure. And I think the next coach that comes in is going to have a very hard problem too. I think the next coach that comes in is going to say, oh, damn, Brett Brown worked with this. Yeah, this is going to be tough. And that's where I think the whole, they need a new head coach because the next head coach that comes in is just going to be able to fix everything. That's where I think that is just a really ridiculous statement to make, but some fans do have that idea in their brain that the next coach that walks in is just going to be able to make it fix and make it work and make it gel instantly within seconds. And one of the reasons why this team doesn't gel is because of situations like this. Right here, we're seeing it. Oh, here's the team back. Oh, wait, nope. Ben Simmons is out. Oh, wait, Ben Simmons is back. Joel Embiid got hurt. Oh, what's that? Al Horford's a little banged up. Oh, okay. Oh, Josh Richardson had a knee injury. Oh, okay. That's one of the reasons why this team has never had a chance to gel either. It's a tough fit to begin with. I understand that. But with that being said, they barely get to play ever on the floor together. This is just crushing, and this is the timeline. So Shams of The Athletic originally tweeted that the MRI came back clean. He's expected to be day-to-day. So when you saw that, you thought, okay. And even when you saw the play happen, it wasn't like some crazy injury. He limped when he put the inbound pass to Al Horford, and then he walked towards the bench and went back in the locker room. Now, you did see the way he was walking, and that looked ugly. It was gingerly, and it had a limp to him, so that didn't look good. But when you saw that when you saw the tweet after the clip, you go, okay. But at the time, I claimed you can't ever actually think that this medical staff is just going to give you all the information within multiple minutes, and then there you go. There's your news. You never know. No matter what is released by the 76ers, you never know what is actually going down. So Shams tweeted that out. Then we learned that he had the subluxation of the left patella listed out, and treatment options are considered. No ligament damage, though. So the no ligament damage is what made us feel optimistic. At that point, I felt the fan base realized, okay, you probably wouldn't see him for the rest of the play-in games or the rest of the 8-game regular season, whatever you want to call it. You wouldn't see him for that. But once the playoffs came around, it was possible. And then bang, undergoing surgery. Could be back if a deep run. They need to remove a loose body in the left knee, and we'll leave the NBA bubble. You ain't going to see him again. You're not going to see him again. Can Joel Embiid do this alone? He's been on a great stretch, right? He's been very aggressive. He's been very active. He's actually averaging 33, 14, and 4 in the 4 games, shooting under just 60%. And he's been handling the double teams beautifully. But one of the things that concerns me is, the double team by the Orlando Magic and the Washington Wizards, that is not even close to the same thing as the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics. So while he has done a good job understanding and comprehending that double team and how it's going to be thrown at him, it's a lot different when you're talking about the playoffs and a different team. This is straight up horrible. Horrible. And as I kind of stated in the beginning, it's not so much about this playoff run because it looked awful before this injury even occurred. I am just really upset about the future of Ben Simmons and how this kind of holds him back a bit when it comes to the growth. I'm okay with losing in playoff rounds because I watched players like Michael Jordan go through losing a series, losing to the Pistons, losing over and over again, and then using that in the offseason to fuel him to get better. And that's how this works. You don't just go from tanking to picking Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to a championship. Now we are in the phase where you lose, you earn it, you learn from it, you gain experience, you battle, you go 7, you feel a heartbreak, you get better in the offseason, and you do it over again until you finally get to that hump where you're 27, 28, 29, 30. It's a grown man's league. I'm just basing this off of facts and history of the NBA. I'm just using the history of the entire league to defend my point on this is how it works. So with that being said, I am truly hurt because I needed Ben Simmons to just go out there, play, see how teams defend him once again. I need to see him go up against competition in the playoffs. I need to see him be aggressive in the playoffs. I need to see him playing point forward, a whole new position in the playoffs, because that could be something that he takes into the offseason and he can add to that portion of his game being the point forward so he can see how teams defend him in a whole new position, and all of that is just gone. When it comes to this season, is it possible that they go on a miraculous run? I guess so. Nick Foles won a damn Super Bowl, so I guess so. I guess it is possible. Is there a way that this spark, a mini spark happens because it's, hey, nobody can believe us now? Nobody's going to believe in us, so why don't we step the hell up and make something happen? I guess in theory, sure. Do I think it will happen, though? No, I don't think it will happen. But in theory, could Tobias Harris step up? Can Al Horford step up? Could Al Horford, if you think about it, be the Nick Foles? And it's a little different because Nick Foles wasn't hated like Al Horford is today. But here comes Al Horford sliding into the power forward position in the starting lineup. Could he put up numbers? Could he do what he did against the Orlando Magic consistently and bring this team on a ride to the point where they win the NBA championship and all these fans want to trade Ben Simmons because Al Horford is the better player, just like we heard about Wentz and Nick Foles? Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Because I can see it happening. Oh, I can see it happening. You all know that you can see it happening too. There's no doubt about it. Let's react to some phone calls here. I appreciate everybody taking the time to call into the 24/7 Anytime hotline. Once again, the phone number is 856-442-9805. You can call at any point to leave your message.
What's up, Rhodes? I honestly don't think it means anything because I don't think this team was going far anyway. All I think it means is it's another excuse to keep Brett Brown for another year, which obviously I don't think's good for the Sixers, and we need to get him out as soon as the season's over and start with a fresh new coach. So that's the only thing I think that it affects, really, because I don't think they make it very far anyway. So, yeah.
Well, the only thing I'll disagree with is the fact that I do think it matters for Ben Simmons individually. When it comes to the coach, I would hope to think at this point they understand that Brett Brown wasn't getting the job done, and that's reality. And obviously, I think majority of the blame goes on the players more so than the coach. But with that being said, the 15 to 20% that I do put on the coach, he wasn't doing the best job, right? He wasn't doing super well. The fact that he's still struggling with rotations and things of that nature prior to the Ben Simmons injury, having Raul Neto out there at times, and then after 2 games, he's just cut out of the lineup completely because he's going with the guys that we were screaming about, things like that. Yeah, it's frustrating. I get it. I hope that they will see that Ben Simmons and this injury doesn't really correlate to the struggles of Brett Brown throughout the entire season and once they return back to the bubble. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's not like I trust the top of the front office. I don't know what Elton Brand would do. But if it comes to guys above Elton Brand and how they feel about Brett Brown, see, the ownership, I don't think they care about winning. I don't think this ownership gives a damn about winning. They just care about making money. It's a business to them. Do they like Brett Brown enough where it doesn't matter? Maybe. I don't know. I can't see Elton Brand being the one to chop him off. Because remember what happened when you had Brett Brown being that GM at the time. I'm sure Brett Brown had a lot to say when it came to hiring someone like Elton Brand as GM. So that plays a factor. I would like to think, though, that they'd be smart enough to understand that it wasn't working before all this. So that just can't get thrown away. I would hope to think they're smart enough.
Yo, bro, give us the Celtics first round. I legitimately believe we can beat them with our size still, without Simmons. The only team I'm concerned about yet is the Bucks. Hopefully, if we make it out, I think we can make it out of the second round. But give us the Celtics first. This team got it. Next man up. And hopefully Simmons can make it back for the Eastern Conference Finals. I got faith, brother. You got to keep your faith. All right, bye-bye.
Whoa, he's got faith. I can't go there. I wish I could. Honestly, I would rather be in that mindset. I would rather have that type of positivity. But I can't think that way. Kudos to you to think that way. Now, when it comes to the Boston Celtics, is there a little bit of me inside that has a little bit of optimism that they could maybe win that series due to their size? Maybe. And I wonder what type of Brett Brown criticism would happen if Joel Embiid and the Ben Simmons-less 76ers beat the best coach ever in Brad Stevens, as all these Brett Brown haters like to say. I wonder if he would get any praise if that actually happened. Probably not, but it would just be funny to think about, right? I mean, here comes a team without Ben Simmons, and they just have Joel Embiid, and I'm informed that Brad Stevens is the smartest human being in the world. but Brett Brown went out and beat him. Oh, what would that say? But I digress. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. If I was a betting man, I would say it wouldn't happen. But I do know that there are 76ers fans optimistic about that happening. I do know that there are 76ers fans that think, hey, look at the size. You do have a big man in Joel Embiid, and the Celtics can't guard him. You do have Tobias playing the best game that he's played in a while. You do have Al Horford, who looked good against Orlando. Could it be that it can work without Ben Simmons on the floor? You have Alec Burks getting buckets. I'm not betting it. I'm not putting my money down on it. But it's intriguing, and there's a tad inside of me that thinks, oh, there's a little chance. There's a little chance. Maybe that's me just being super, super optimistic about the squad, even though I know, ooh, this is so horrible.
Bros. Damn it, bros. The Philadelphia curse is real, bros. We can never catch a break, bros. Bros. I mean, this franchise just doesn't have a superstar or a player that will not get injured, bros. This is terrible. This is devastating, crushing. Sixers season is done. We will not survive in the playoffs playing at the pace of snails and turtles, bros. With that being said, the Sixers should pick up RB, DJ Eastwood, bros, D-Ray, and whoever else. And we should come off the second unit. I'm crushed, bros. This hurts. No matter how people are talking about Ben Simmons, this team needs him.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to RB, by the way, and DJ Eastwood and all the guys, man. We have a group chat, Philly Mike. We talk 76ers basketball. Shout out to all them. That would be a great unit to come off the bench. You know I'd be taking them damn charges. You see what TJ McConnell did to Shake Milton the other day to get Joel Embiid and Shake to tussle on the bench? Yeah, I'm TJ McConnell. I'd be rocking those type of minutes. One thing you said, though, that's interesting. You mentioned playing like snails and turtles. Well, that's what postseason basketball is. It's a slowed down game. And I feel when people watch 82 games of regular season ball, they forget that when it is the postseason play, it is snails and turtles. That's what it is. That is playoff basketball. What you see in the regular season, that's not playoff basketball. So with these players, and that's one of the reasons why I felt like you would see a different Al Horford in the postseason compared to what you saw in the regular season. The regular season play doesn't benefit his style of play. And someone like Furkan Korkmaz, regular season basketball does actually help his style of play, and postseason is not going to help him. So that's why I think Al Horford, who struggled in the regular season at his age, would actually be able to benefit more in the postseason. And someone like Furkan, who had big games in the regular season, will struggle way more in the postseason. That doesn't make me sit here and say they're going to win the championship now because of this. But slow down basketball, my point is, slow down basketball is what playoff basketball is all about. And it's a totally different environment, totally different style of play, and the level of intensity is multiplied by 7 billion. So it's a completely different game out there. But when it comes to that second unit, I'm all for it. I would absolutely love to go out there and take a charge. Here comes Kawhi with the monster. Oh, bro, slides in. What? It's a block. Here I go. Well, what are you saying, Violet? I get in her face. No. Next caller.
Hey, bros, and man, this nightmare of a team just keeps on getting worse. Ben Simmons needing surgery. Dude. Oh, this team's just going to struggle so much without Ben, man. Ben's the guy on the floor who just facilitates everyone and can make amazing passes. But now that Ben is in here, the team's just going to fall apart. Like, they struggled against the Magic last game, and they're not even one of the good contender teams that they're going to be playing in the playoffs. So, I hope Ben gets better. But
I hope he does too. Perimeter defense is where I think they're going to lose the most. Just defense in general. his defense is so damn good. And I know the first couple games it hasn't been good, but when he's locked in and when he's ready to rock and roll, when he's playing legit defense, which I would have expected him to do when the game's intensified, that's where you're going to lose him the most. That's where you are going to see a big difference. Who is that defender now? I mean, you look at these defenders, and yes, you do have someone like Matisse Thybulle who is excellent and succeeds when it comes to that style of play. You have Josh Richardson. You have Joel Embiid. But you can't argue that losing Ben Simmons defensively is going to be such a difference maker. For the people out there that don't like Ben Simmons, that says he's just a standard guy and he doesn't do anything for this team and he can't do anything offensively, one, I think you need to either get your eyeballs checked or learn the game of basketball. You can be frustrated and say that, yes, his spacing does influence things out there on the floor, but come on now. He impacts the game. And for a guy who can't shoot to give you around 18 points per game, I'd say that's pretty damn impressive. That doesn't mean he doesn't need to fix his problems, but to say that he's nothing in the offense, well, that's laughable. You lose so much with this guy all around, but you want to look at his defense. It's crazy how a city like Philadelphia, who takes pride in players who work hard compared to talent, people would rather have a person who works his damn ass off but isn't that talented over someone who has superstar talent and doesn't work hard at all. Yet you have Ben Simmons, who is super insanely talented and works hard and is a phenomenal defender, and they want to run him out of town. Does that even add up? Does it?
Yo, Rhodes, I'm Jack Morgan from Pennsylvania. I mean, it's not his first time. We all know this. He's been injured before. It was with the foot, I believe, or sorry, the back, and then he had injury he had in summer league. It's now three injuries in the past 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Is he injury prone now? I don't know what to say. I already know situation with Carson Wentz and him being injury prone. Is Ben Simmons injury prone now? Thanks for taking my call.
I wouldn't go as far as injury prone. I wouldn't. I don't think it's to that level. I mean, it's different areas of the body. I do think that you see 3 injuries, and they are severe injuries when you think about it. The back, he did come back from the back because of the quarantine situation, but if the season ended or did not end where it did in the middle of the season, you probably wouldn't have seen him for the playoffs either, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, you do have some severe injuries with the guy, but I don't think it really relates to injury prone when it comes to Ben Simmons, because he's out there, he gives you 40 minutes, he gives you 70, 80 games in a row, and he's fine, and he's giving you everything he has out there, and he plays in the postseason, and before this year, I'm saying, but he played in the last 2 postseasons. I wouldn't go to that extreme. I mean, you did have what happened early in his career, but then they held him out more to somewhat tank a bit, if you will. So they left him out and said that it was, hey, we got to keep him out longer term than he really needed to be out for and things of that nature. I wouldn't look too deep into it, but I guess if this continues to happen, let's say next year he's out for the year again, okay, now is it time to bring up that conversation? Maybe. I just don't think I'm at the point now to start saying, hey, this guy has an injury problem.
Hey, bro, how you doing, my guy? So, just got news that Ben Simmons is going to require surgery for his knee. Once again, the freaking Sixers just have to come in lying about the injury severity. The communication is terrible. We go through this every single freaking year. I am sick and tired of this. That being said, I hope Ben recovers. I hope that this team can overcome his loss, but I cannot deal with this crap anymore. It's got to stop. The communication is awful, as you've said many times in your show. I'm very heartbroken right now. I don't want to say our season's over, but it took a big hit. But I'll leave this up for you to discuss. All right, man. See ya.
Thank you so much for calling in. The one thing you said that stood out to me was, it stood out to me. I took a sip of my water. I was thinking about it in my head. And then I forgot. Oh! How dare I forget. You mentioned how the communication is poor with the medical team and the Sixers. And if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know where I stand when it comes to that, right? This wasn't even that bad. You have Shams reporting it, so Shams was the one that said he's expected to be day-to-day, and then you see that there's no ligament damage and some follow-up tweets and things of that nature. I don't think the Sixers handled this situation very poorly. I don't think they did. It's way worse. The fact that we know already, I mean, think about when the injury happened, right? We understand already that, hey, that he's going to be done for the year. They've handled situations way worse. I expected it to be way worse. Now, does that mean that they were the best? Well, no. But I think you found out, hey, look, there's no ligament damage. The x-rays or the MRI showed some negative things, which is a positive. I know how that can get confusing at times. It showed a negative result, which means that's a positive for us Sixers fans. And then all of a sudden you find out that he needs surgery. I mean, look, when you are the Sixers in this scenario, I'll say this. If there was nothing shown on the MRI, and that what was shown, okay. I mean, that's the information you give out. Nothing was shown. And then a couple days later, bang, you find out he needs surgery. Normally, I would say you wouldn't find out for 3 weeks, and he'd be reevaluated after every 2 weeks, and they would really prolong this thing, and it would get ugly, and we'd be saying, what the hell is going on with Ben? For us to know relatively soon, I'm sort of surprised. But yes, when you look at the history of things, it gets ugly with the 76ers. A lot of the reporting, though, you see Shams tweeting out from his sources from The Athletic and things of that nature. The wording by the 76ers to a lot of the media members, I didn't think it was absolutely terrible. They're just giving the information. Well, this came up negative in the MRI. Okay. And then within days, we knew they needed surgery. So I know that it is crazy and it's very emotional and it's bonkers that things like that happen, but here we are. We're in a spot right now where the 76ers are going to be without Ben Simmons for a playoff run. God bless them. Thank you all so much for listening and calling in. Thank you so much for utilizing the 24/7 Anytime hotline. I love reacting with the listeners. Remember that this episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and with over 20 years of experience in the industry, they're home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. Their information is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.